We've all had that moment where we're put on the spot, and we just don't know what to say. We practice that here with our table topics. It happens to us when we're the Toastmaster. Even as an evaluator, we have little time to prepare. We often begin to speak extemporaneously, off the cuff, off the top of our head, as we try to get our points across. And in real life, when you step outside the confines of this room, you're often called upon to speak. Sometimes in areas where you have a lot of knowledge and expertise, but other times you're caught unprepared for the question. So what can we do to better equip ourselves to handle these situations? The impromptu speaking package that Toastmasters provides for this gives us a 5-step process that we can use. It gives us 4 strategies, and it gives us 3 overarching points that we can put into play. I'm going to provide that to you first, and then I'm going to point to some other resources that you can use, and I have some that I'll give away after the meeting for those who are interested. Some come from Toastmasters International, some you can find out on the web. And then I want to talk and have a conversation about how we can look at this as an opportunity to tell stories. Because I believe storytelling is one of the ways that we can equip ourselves to handle these situations and to be more comfortable. So my purpose is to try to help you find the resources and to arm yourself so when you have to speak in an impromptu situation that you'll perform better. So let me go to this Toastmaster International prepared speech. And for those who are not familiar, no, I loaded it. Well, that's okay. I'll do it off the cuff without the speech. So, the 5-step formula. The idea is that working your way through this 5-step formula, you can help yourself to perform better. And the first step in the formula is to listen. Whenever we listen closely to other people, as they ask us a question or as they tee us up to give the impromptu speech, we have more credibility because we listen closely. We have the resource of the words they use and the ideas behind the words to use. And we can be more confident that we understand what we're talking about. Now you may judge you have this much knowledge out of this much possible knowledge about the topic, or this much. It doesn't matter. That you understand the topic is what's important. So step 1 is to listen. As you're listening, you can begin to formulate your strategy for the next step. But you always have that opportunity to pause and think for just a second when the person stops speaking. No one expects you to stand up and launch immediately into your impromptu speech. So pause. Pause to compose at least that first point that you want to make. Next, now it's time for you to launch into your particular choice of how you're going to respond. So you want to begin to talk. But because you're speaking in an impromptu manner, plan a very brief, simple response. Have maybe one point. If it's a short table topic type of speech, that's all you need is one point. Use that one point and build. That point as your opening. And then construct your body, and then come back to your point for your closing. Be brief. Get to the point. Speak slowly. Take your time. Even though you've been put on the spot, you're not being rushed to answer, and you've already committed to being brief. So, slow down. Give yourself a little time to think as you talk. Breathe, as we've been advised to do. Make your point. And get off the stage. It's a 5-step formula. It's in the book. I would have thrown it up here. I'll give it to you afterwards since I didn't get my briefing queued up correctly. This is one of those canned briefings. And the thing I started to say was, Toastmasters International provides it to you in the form of a already prepared briefing. You don't get to edit it, you don't get to put it into the PowerPoint and other things like that. And so that's why it sits separately from this. The next thing, in addition to the 5-step formula for an impromptu speech that Toastmasters provides, is 4 strategies. And I'll give you a little more detail on one of the strategies. I already alluded to it. Some people call it PrEP, P-R-E-P. Decide on your point, give the reason why you support that point, give an example, and then return to the point. Your point is your opening. Your reason and your example are your body, and you're repeating the point and emphasizing it and making it part of your conclusion is your conclusion. So now you've organized your speech. And really, everything we do always goes back to our Competent Communicator Manual, right? Get to the point, be organized, use words well, use gestures appropriately, etc., etc. You know, that core of the Competent Communicator Manual is the core of being able to do impromptu speaking. Other examples of strategies is to talk about the past, connect it to the present, and then talk about what it means for the future. But find some organizing principle that helps you to keep your speech on track, so you don't wander off into the wilderness. You don't begin to just talk and talk and talk, and suddenly you're so far away from the point that you started on that you can't drag yourself back to it.